Bullseye. Yes, Hickok 45, your internet shooting companion. Coming to you from the beautiful dreary hills again of Tennessee, the home of Alvin York. Yes, and also lots of dead turkeys, I guess now, right? Eaten turkeys. So, yeah, welcome to the woods of Tennessee on this post-Thanksgiving Sunday. Actually, I still consider it Thanksgiving weekend, don't you? Until about midnight Sunday night, tonight. It's still Thanksgiving. The way I look at it, right? Should be Thanksgiving year round, right? We should all appreciate and be very, very thankful for everything. Family, friends, beautiful firearms we might have the pleasure of firing, hunting with, plinking with, carrying on duty, whatever. The car we drive, the tires on our car, we should be thankful for everything, and we're not, are we? We're not thankful enough. We always looking at, what we need, what we want next, where we want to go next, some new experience that'll change our lives or whatever that might be, and difficult to be satisfied, right, with current circumstances, what we have, and it's good and it's bad. Right? It's why we got to the moon. For those who think we actually got to the moon, it's why we have, whether we did or not, is why we have the wonderful, I guess it's wonderful, we are beginning to wonder these days, but the wonderful technologies that we have developed, people have come up with, and we have the capability of getting to the moon and beyond, and all those kinds of things. We just never satisfied. So that's the positive side of that, right? But the negative side can keep people from having an enjoyable life because they constantly are looking at the glass half empty. Yeah, they see an empty glass, a half empty glass, how miserable their lives are. And if they just looked around a little bit, as I've said, walked through that hospital a few times, that nursing home, traveled to another country, a third world, fifth world country, have a look around. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, hope you had a good Thanksgiving, got to see your family, maybe some family members you ain't seen in a while, and discovered they're still just as obnoxious as they've always been, but they're still family, right? And friends and family, it's always good. Well, mostly, isn't it? It's good to see them and hang out, have a little turkey or whatever your traditions might be, and catch up with people. Hopefully you're not so lame-brained that you get into all these political arguments. Or hopefully there's nobody lame-brained enough in your family to ruin Thanksgiving dinner that way. It's so dumb. We put too much in. It's important. Obviously, as we have discovered, right, the last several years, decades, it's pretty important. Elections matter and who gets elected, whether you have adults in the room or not, and all that kind of thing. It's very, very, very important. But then again, none of that's worth losing relationships with family over, is it? Just not. Just not. It's one of those things that's difficult to quantify and prove. In recent years, it's been a little easier maybe, but that's where we argue the most, isn't it? We argue the most. I'll load this while I'm talking. I was shooting some Steinel there. Maybe I'll shoot some. Yeah, let's go ahead and try some Underwood string penetrators just for the heck of it. Oh, say scare me just looking at them. Things that are difficult to prove are what humans argue over the most, right? Politics, religion, what else? I don't know, science. Sometimes those are the things we just argue about the most because nobody can prove one way or the other very easily, any of that, right? So we can kind of believe what we want to believe. I tell you what, that's really the basis of all the arguments about these things. Well, some of it. The best gun to carry, the best ammo, the best caliber, all that kind of thing. We have empirical evidence, but we don't have widespread individual empirical evidence to draw on for a lot of that. Now with hunting rounds, I think we do, even defensive rounds to some extent, but with hunting rounds, there's less argument about that. From my perspective, I don't really hunt, but if you look at some videos from people who do, Ron Spomer or whoever, experts, and people they're talking to about hunting and different cartridges, and someone's done a great deal of hog hunting, for example, or a great deal of deer hunting. Heck, my friends, neighbors who do a lot of deer hunting, they're bigger experts. They're more credible experts on ammo, caliber, and all that than 99% of the people out there posting about defensive, ammo and guns and all that, arguing over 9 or 40 or 10 or all those sorts of things. Because hunters actually see the results day after day, right? They experiment continuously, with calibers, chamber rings, 30-30, 300 blackout, 45-70, 375 each, or whatever it does to whatever game they're hunting. And some serious hunters, man, they get a lot of game. I've got a friend who does a fair amount of hunting. He loves to deer hunt. He's an old guy like me, older actually, and he gets 5 or 6 deer at least every year. He's just out there. So, muzzle loaders and regular guns. I think he has a 270 he uses, and different things. So they have a lot of insight into what works and what doesn't that we don't have as an individual. When we start arguing about, 40 versus 9, I'll load this while I'm yakking at you. Okay. Thankfully, thankfully you're not in a defensive shooting every other day, right? In order to have a lot of really valid evidence to draw on there. So we argue about that, and we get really heated about it sometimes, don't we? Or we see heated arguments online about that from people who have no experience. It's funny. All right, extreme penetrators from Underwood. What do we want to penetrate? Well, let's just penetrate a bowling pin right here. Woo! That's got some punch. Yeah, how about I'll shoot that cinder block, but I don't want to here. How about the propane? Yeah, that got some punch. Penetrate Mr. Gong. Yeah, gets there just fine. And it's through a 2-liter. Yeah, those. I can't imagine what would remain standing with one of those hitting at 45, 70, 2,100 feet per second. A great bullet, I believe, by all standards, and yeah, got some punch. All right, nice. That's what still on the same topic. It's interesting. People will say they don't mean anything by it. They don't mean to sound arrogant. I realize that. I've probably said some of the same things myself at times when there's a discussion, which is often right on videos about firearms and handguns and all that, and people will say, I think I saw one this morning. Someone said, they'll say things like maybe it's on a 10 millimeter pistol video or whatever it might be, or some debate about cartridges, and say, well, I carry a 40 and it's just fine, or I've been carrying a 10 and no problems, or I've been carrying a 9 for 20 years, or whatever it might be, those kinds of things. And well, that's great. I could go. I could take my. Let's see, what do I carry now? I'm carrying my Bodyguard 2.0. I could say I've been carrying my Bodyguard 2.0 380 in the mountains for 10 years, no problems, man. It works great for me. Well, how many shootings have you been involved in? Bear attacks? Well, none, but it works great for me. So people don't mean anything by that, but you see that a lot, don't you? Yeah. Yeah, I'm good with a 9, or I'm good with a 4. Whatever it is, I'm good with this. Been carrying for 10 years or 20. How many shootings have you been involved in? And all these kinds of things. So, and even if someone who has been involved in a lot of shootings, not many people. Jim Cirillo, right, in the New York Stakeout Squad, and a few others. But you would have to almost go right down the line. Okay, what happened, and how big was this person, and where did you hit him, and how long did it take him to stop, and what ammo were you using, and exactly where did that bullet hit him, and all this kind of thing. And I mean, you'd have to have hundreds of almost detailed descriptions of that kind of thing to start drawing a lot of valid conclusions. It's just a crazy thing, and people react differently, all that sort of thing. So anyway, something that's difficult to prove, one way or the other, are the things we are the most vehemently energetic about quite often. So I didn't lose my train of thought. So it's not worth losing your relationship with family members over things like politics or anything. Maybe over arguing about ammo caliber. That's okay. It's okay if you'll never speak to your brother-in-law again at Thanksgiving because he carries a freaking 40 caliber pistol, and you got into an argument about it. Okay, but I hope you enjoyed Thanksgiving. You're still enjoying it, because it ain't over until tonight. Like I say, if you're watching this on Sunday, on December the 1st, right? I can't believe it's December. Man, look, can we just cancel winter this year? I'd be all for that. How about a little lead ammo? This is some Black Hills lead, and it is 405 grain, a classic round. Oh, by the way, I assume you know everything. Am I recording? Yeah, always a good idea to be doing that. What is it? It's my Browning, 1886. Yeah, bought it in 1986. Okay. I was going to buy it in 1886, but I couldn't find one. But I found this one in 1986, and that's been a while. So what are we coming up on? Uh-oh, don't everyone do math on live TV, do you? But yeah, it'll be what, 40 years and about a year? Yeah, man, hard to believe, isn't it? Yeah, I'll have to plan a nice celebration for that. Give me an excuse to bring that out. And in 2026 will be 40 years. Gosh, pretty soon it'll be 39. Math wizard, aren't I? And it's still in good shape. So I take care of my firearms pretty good, don't I? Most of the scrapes and getting banged up, or like getting it out of the safe, or not having it in a sock, or falling against something else. Oh, I had trouble just a while back. I wanted to shoot this thing, and guns falling on me. As I've told you before, whenever I catch myself, load up, getting mad, and I was frustrated. Too many things I was trying to get done, guns falling against the other on me or whatever. I was really starting to get mad again, but I always catch myself. I've told you this before. Okay, calm down. Talking to myself. Talk to myself often. I never argue with myself, but calm down. You're getting upset because you have so many firearms that the safes are crowded and they're falling against each other or falling out on you. You got so many firearms. So is that what you're about to get mad about? Speaking of being thankful, are you about to get mad about that and get upset, get all in a tizzy because it's like a box of coat hangers or something, your frustration with it? Yeah, get upset with a box of coat hangers or other things, but not because you have so many nice firearms, in fact, that your safes are crowded. That would not be the thing you'd want to get upset about, right? If you catch yourself, that's just that's not good. That's what is that? Not hypocritical necessarily, but it's a level of arrogance. I don't know. It's like um, an embarrassment of riches or something, or it's like Hugh Hefner getting upset because. Uh, well, I don't know. I can't think. Hugh Hefner's my idol. Okay, my hero. So how many rounds did I put in there? Did anybody count? Okay. Oh, let's put one of these on Clyde. 405 grains of lead. Sorry, Clyde. How about you, cowboy? Right in the center. There were probably some cowboy desperados back in the day that caught a round of 45-70, 405 grain lead. Don't you imagine? Oh, I didn't pick one up. I thought I had another round. Let's just give it to Clyde. Yeah, cool. My grandson was in this week's great, hanging out. We went back over there and just reminded of hiking, went down the creek, way down. It's a steep climb. He wanted to go down there, so I was glad he did. And one day I will be too old to do that, I guess. But it's a steep climb. In fact, there's a spring and a little creek down there. And yeah, I don't know, 2-3 years ago, I got I think it's a 100-foot rope and a polymer or whatever rope, and I tied it to a tree up near the top and all the way down. It makes it a lot easier if you've ever done that. If it's steep and very irregular ground and rocks, it's easier to climb around. The leaves get down, you're not sure what you're stepping in a hole or whatever. And having that rope as you're going down is handy. And so he likes that. He thinks it's cool. We go down to the spring, a little creek. He found him a rock, a souvenir he brought back up. And I told him he wanted a bigger rock. I said, well, you want to carry that back to the house? It's, and I said, why don't you get you a little one, find a nifty little rock in the creek that just, it's not that deep, a different thing. And you see all the rocks. It's clean water, clear water. I wouldn't want to drink it, but it's clear. And you never know what's in it. But so he found a little rock, brought it back. But anyway, he enjoyed that so much, hanging out down there on at the creek, and didn't want to leave, which I stayed with him as long as he wanted to stay, because my gosh, kids just don't get out, and he does, but I mean, a lot of 8-year-olds don't get out, hang out in the woods. They don't get a chance to do that, like we wish they would, right? In these days, I'm sure some never get off the pavement. So I always try to get him out in the woods and knock around, pick up sticks. They love sticks when they're that age. They always got another stick to pick up, a walking stick or whatever it is, one to bang on trees with, and whatever. And it's a place where he can do that. You want to throw a rock, he can throw it. He wants to hit something with a stick, he can do it. In life, there's so many places now where in civilization where a kid can't really be a kid and do that kind of thing. So we had a good time. We also put a big stone on Slamfire's grave and wrote his name on it. I got a Dremel tool out, and he actually did some of it. It's hard to do. It's a limestone. I'm not sure it's limestone, but a big flat rock, and we wrote Slamfire on it with that Dremel tool and a grinding bit, and the dates and everything, and he was able to put RIP in there. It's kind of hard to do, but so we got that done. Had a good weekend. And can I shoot this again? Yeah. What should we shoot? Let's shoot a little Steinle again. How about that? Oh, a big thanks to or shout out, what do I call it, to not to get political, but to Daniel Penny. That poor guy. I mean, it's really sad that somebody lost his life, in the New York subway. Obviously, we all agree with that, right? if you've been watching that case and all that, that's a shame. The poor fellow had issues and all that. But why in the world is that even a trial? Why did that even come to trial? And of course, I think we all know, but you hear all the testimony from all the people in that car. You know, I mean, that should have been, that poor guy, you know, I guess there's I need to donate to his, I'm sure he's got a GoFundMe or there's something there, his legal defense on all that. I really am. I need to donate some money to that guy. But that should have been a case where the detectives, wouldn't you think? You know, the first thing you would do, I've never been a detective or really a true law enforcement person, but okay, here's what happens. Okay, let's interview everybody. And like they did him, and everybody that was in the car, you go around, okay, record it, whatever, notes. And so, Miss Smith, what did you see? What was going on? You know, exactly. And then, you know, go to the next person, and I don't know, what, 7 or 8, 10 people. I don't know how many were in there. But everyone I've heard from, you know, they're like, wow, yeah, it was, you know, glad that he took action, you know, all this kind of thing. He saved us or whatever it is. Well, it seems like, you know, when the detectives interviewed those people and got all the, in fact, that's what I understand they did. They were not going to pursue the case, you know, didn't see any reason to. And then the district attorney, you know, whatever political reasons, decided to. But that should never, they should have given him, they should have called him to wherever, the courthouse, you know, said, oh, Mr. Penny, you know, come here. Oh, am I in trouble for this? You know, sorry about this guy that lost his life, but are you going to arrest me? Oh, no. We've got this medal we want to pin on your chest, and because you basically are the newest subway hero, you know. And we thank you for your service, both as a Marine and for what you did today. You know, I don't know. You agree? You disagree? I don't know. Don't mean to get it's not really political. It's just a shame. Just a shame. All right. Okay. Here we go. Ouch. No reason to get pinched with this. But it's you know, it's so easy to load. Guess I could hone that edge down a little. It's really not a problem. That's the nice thing about these 1886s. They load so easily. They're a dream lever gun, basically what they are. You may not want one, and there's replicas of these made. This is kind of a replica. This was made by Browning. But John Browning's the one who came up with the 1886, you know, Winchester. So it is a reproduction. You know, it's not a Winchester, but just a beautiful firearm. Whatever the chambering is, they're, you know, the same size basically, and they're smooth to load, smooth to shoot. A little bigger than obviously your Winchester, your 73 or your 92s and the others, but wow, strong. And I guess most people who like lever guns and studied lever guns and fired all the lever guns would, I don't know, 90% of them would probably say this is kind of the queen or king of them, you know, really. So, but there's a lot of nice ones. All right, it's trying to rain. It's gonna rain on me, I'm afraid. Let's shoot something before it does. All right, got me a buffalo. Let's get him again. All right. I think I went up. Yeah. I don't know, did I hit it on that next to the last shot? I think I missed it. I noticed as I was shooting, it went in my pocket. I don't know, I was just ready to pull the trigger and I just kind of moved up a little bit. You know how that is with a handgun, especially a rifle. You know when you pull the trigger, oh, for some reason, I moved up and then pulled the trigger because you're about ready to let it break. And if you're not a shooter, you haven't shot much, don't get the impression that the only way you can shoot well is if you're perfectly steady. Some people, I think, probably do video on that. They are under the impression, if they're not a shooter, that it really comes down to whether or not you can hold that perfectly steady or not. If you can't hold your firearm perfectly steady, rifle or handgun, then you're probably going to miss. That ain't the case, is it? No. I might be, or you might be, less steady than I am. It's especially an issue with a handgun, but even a rifle. Let's say I can hold it, about that steady or whatever. Pretty steady. You can't really hold it that still. That's what I'm saying. Steady, still, one place, not moving. You're kind of moving around a little bit, but you still might outshoot me, even with semi-precision shooting, right? Because your trigger control is better than mine, because it all comes down to everybody's front sight is moving around on the target, either a little bit or a little more or not a lot. So it's a matter of pulling that trigger at the right instant, getting the brake right as you're right where you want it to be. So that's kind of what I was saying there. I don't know, for some reason, because you got some pressure on the trigger and you're ready to fire. It's like maybe half pressure is about to go, but then you decide to go ahead and let it go, but you moved up a little bit or down a little bit just as it broke, and you kind of knew it when you let it go, which is good because oh, okay, that probably went high, because I could tell when the trigger broke. I think I had moved my sights up a little bit or down, or if I jerked left or whatever I did. So no charge for that little lesson. Okay, we'll shoot one more time. Get you out of here. Oh, if I give any brilliant advice for kids, hey, how about this advice? I think last week I talked about getting off the screens. How about reading a book occasionally? That'd be good, wouldn't it? None of us really does that enough, probably. But no matter how much you read online, it's just different, unless you're reading books online. But you can go to articles and different things going on. It's just different. Things are in just bites, and it's not even written well most of the time. News articles, that kind of thing. There's an agenda, and it's just not written well. It's designed to grab your attention or to keep you reading so they can put more ads on that article. So you got to go through this ad to get to the next paragraph and run down the line. So I think that's a lot of it. Because, some of the worst writing on the planet, some story about something is not that complicated. You just want to kind of get the gist of it. You got to keep going, and they ramble, and they don't get to it worse than I do. And I just bail out. I say, forget it. It's just crazy. And so everything's for attention. And with a book, a novel, or some piece of nonfiction, you exercise your mind a little bit better. Like Sir Richard Steele, right? The quote from him: reading is to the mind as exercise is to the body, something like that. Because they're not trying, generally, some might be, but generally if you got a novel or something that's a serious work of nonfiction at all, anything like that, it's a long form. It's like Joe Rogan podcast extreme. There's no hurry up and let's get everybody's attention in the first minute, or that kind of thing. And I think it's better exercise for the mind, is what I'm saying, and it probably helps shape our brains a little better. When you think about all the young people now that quite possibly rarely ever read a book unless they're forced to in school. I don't know. So that's my 2 cents. Read a book. Get something that's interesting to you. The history of John Browning. I don't know. You're here watching a gun video. It's something interesting. The history of Ruger. I don't know. And something that's not all flash and an attempt to get clicks. You clicked when you bought the book, and then the clicking is kind of over, and you can just settle in and enjoy the read. All right, let's shoot this thing. Boy, how about another pin? Got two with one shot. Yeah, I'm a lucky guy. I have been able to fire a lot of 45-70 in my life through a number, quite a variety of different 45-70 firearms. An original of one of these, as you know, that I have, and single shots, lever guns, other lever guns, the Marlin, Model 95s and such. Wonderful cartridge. Historical cartridge, fun to shoot, fun to hand load. I've hand loaded, I guess, thousands of them, and just nice, really nice cartridge, and in a great great rifle, as I say, the old 1886. It's a classic and it's a beautiful gun. I have to say that again. So I guess I'll let you go and beat the rain back to the house. So it's not too cold today. It's not. So I'll try to get through the winter and not break stride on the Sunday shoot arounds. But again, as I warn you every fall, if there's just a week that's just horrible, I don't know, talk to you on the porch or something, and maybe not shoot, or in the house, or riding down the road and a little bit, and I do all of this for fun. Yeah, I don't have to do any of it, but I enjoy it. I do it for fun, and I will probably touch base with you every Sunday, even through the worst part of winter, somehow. Yeah, somehow. And can't believe it's December. I bet you can't believe it either, right? Well, you might look out your window and be snow on the ground where you live, so it might be easier to believe. But right now, here, this is one of the last days this week. It is the best day, and it's cloudy. That's good. It's going to be rainy and much colder, and so anyway, got some traveling to do, and so I'm a little early in the week again. If Kentucky blows up, on Saturday. That's the reason I don't know anything about it yet. I'm sorry for you folks in Kentucky, but I just don't know anything about it right now. Okay. So I might have seen, I'm going to be going to, I hope, the Tennessee Military Collectors Association event out in Franklin, Cool Springs. So I might have seen some of you there. If I did, I'm sure I was glad to see you. So that's always a good show. It's a military firearms and accessories and that kind of thing, especially. So I don't know that I'm looking for anything. Maybe some ammo. I don't know, Garand ammo. I don't have anything I need, quote unquote. But yeah, I try to have in my head, things. That's one thing I'm bad about. I'm such a gun nut. I'm looking at guns and thinking in terms of course, I don't need a gun. I'm not really looking for a gun, but you might find something you can't live without, right? We've all done that. But if I'm not careful, sometimes I'll have a list. I'll stick about, keep a to-do list, as I said, but I'll just write a couple things on it. If I think about it, then I need to remember, and usually just by seeing something, it'll be a reminder. Kind of like going to Home Depot. I wander around occasionally sometimes there, and I guess some of the people that work there wonder what's wrong with you if you're just, if I'm not in a big hurry or something. I may walk up 3-4 aisles and just look around, and they might suspect you're trying to shoplift or something. You don't seem, why are you here? You don't seem to know what you want. Well, I'm just looking. Who goes to Home Depot just to look? Yeah. Well, I do when I'm in those places. There's just from the sight of something. Haven't you? Do y'all do that? Am I just that weird? I'd be walking along down the electrical aisles. Oh yeah, I need a short extension cord. I keep thinking I'm going to get one. And of course, they got a whole array of lengths and sizes and everything. And yeah, so I'll pick one up. Or I don't know, if you're over in the paint area. Oh yeah, I need a can of black paint. All right. Yeah, I let the shelves remind me. That's my to-do list. And of course, if you're into everything like I am, if you got a place, with some land, and you got a house, and you got all this to keep up, and you got several vehicles, and you're into so many dumb, hobbies and different things, there's just a lot of things that are on your mental list that you mean to get or pick up, or you need, or maybe say, oh yeah, I meant to get a tarp, or something, So yeah, I do. I browse just like my wife in a clothing store or something, perhaps. But how'd I get off on all that? I kind of went down a trail there. I was talking about gun shows, and yeah, it's right, and the military collectors thing, and how sometimes I will just put something dawns on me. Oh yeah, I need some Garand clips or something, and I'll just make a note of that before I go in, or else I'll just forget, some things like that. And then I'll come home and say, oh man, I forgot to look for something that I bet somebody would have had that at that show, and I just didn't think about it, So, but anyway, I enjoy those shows. I'm not an expert in probably any of it, but I'm very much into the historical firearms, as you know, military firearms, and some more than others, depending on the era and the types. But that's a pretty good show. Maybe your state has an organization like that, and anything from historical muzzle loaders, and most things have a military orientation. And World War II firearms. There's always 1911s, nice military 1911s and things like that there, Garand, just whatever. It's not a gigantic show. Like Louisville has a really big one about once a year, but this one in Franklin is pretty good. It's pretty good. Not gigantic, but quality over quantity. Not a show probably where you want to go find some beef jerky, for example. So anyway, I'm rambling like I always do, and I guess I have lied to you about everything I can think of to lie to you about. I thank the people that help us. Let's thank Bud's Gun Shop for all their support. They're right there on your computer screen, no matter what state you live in, right? And then the Silencer Central, same thing. They make the Vanish is one of our favorites, and you've seen them in many of our videos. In fact, you saw one last week, didn't you? In fact, we were shooting some of them this week. And then the Sonoran Desert Institute, you can get yourself onto the road. If you have aspirations to be a gunsmith, you can get started there, and you can learn all kinds of things online. Check out their course offerings. Alabama Holster. You saw me, I think, pull my pistol out of one right here. Yeah, great company. Kydex, they're masters. They make some good ones. I dug out my 1911 holster, the Flapjack, just yesterday, in fact, because I'm going to carry that thing a little bit around the place and shoot. And a 1911, because about any 1911 will fit in it. I think I got it for the commander size 1911, but I think any of them will stick in it well enough for around the place. And of course, talent grips and ballistall, gun fun targets. We appreciate everybody that helps us, and of course you all especially, because you come out and watch. If you remember, right? Yeah. I tell you, it really is. It's a battle with the YouTube algorithm these days. I don't like where YouTube is going. I don't like it. I'm glad that most of my YouTube years were in the more normal period, I think, where I don't know, most of the, what would you call it? Most of the, I don't know, the orientation was to, if you did things that a lot of people were interested in seeing, they would get more recommended and everything, because of maybe videos you've done, your subscriber number, and all those kinds of things that kind of make sense. And now it seems like they couldn't care less about I don't know what the channel does or what this channel has a history of or anything like that. It's just whatever video will get the most attention because it's the most crazy or something. They throw it in the pile, and those are the ones that get recommended. So I think all of you are seeing that. There's so many video makers. Everybody is a creator now, and so you really have to, whoever it is you're following, you really almost need to kind of like, I don't know, like a forum or something. The old days, a gun forum. You go back to the forum to see what's going on there, since you left or something, and you have to go to somebody's channel to see what they've been doing, because it's just not going to get probably recommended. Even the notifications, don't seem to work. And so YouTube's got kind of their own program, and it's changing. But anyway, all the videos are there, so hopefully you find them and you know where they are. I think it's at Hickok 45. Yeah, on YouTube. I think they're all there. So we really appreciate your support. And on Sundays, I know you guys find it, and we post about every Sunday and Tuesday, and then again on Thursday or Friday. Pretty much like clockwork. Yeah. So let me know how you've been doing this week. What have you been shooting? You been shooting anything? Many of you are good about sharing your experiences with a firearm we're reviewing, that kind of thing. Maybe, I don't know, maybe for new shooters, I don't know of course they ask questions and that kind of thing on various videos, but maybe we should do more in recommending things for people just getting into it or newer shooters and what they want to avoid. I probably don't do enough of that. We've done a lot of things, dispelling myths and all that, and things for new shooters, but probably never enough, because it's such a jungle, isn't it? It's like getting into any area you haven't been in, and I've done that so many times in my life. I know exactly what it's like, what you face, whether you're getting into computers for the first time or cameras or chainsaws, and you gotta fight through all the conventional wisdom, some of which is not exactly accurate in some ways. You got to get beyond all of that, don't you? Think about if you knew nothing about firearms, for example, and you just started studying it a little bit and looking at the ballistics or something to decide whether you wanted a 9 or 40, a good example, or 10 or this or 45. Well, you would see so many wild opinions, wouldn't you? And everybody's got a strong opinion one way or the other, and sometimes it would be counterintuitive from what you've read about the ballistics. That doesn't make sense. Why is this guy so upset about this caliber or this chambering? And then you see videos that contradict each other from people who seem to know what they're talking about. And that's the way of the world. The very intelligent, credible people disagree, don't they? Sometimes vehemently on a topic. And that's, part of trying to educate ourselves and work ourselves through the weeds of life. And you're trying to figure out what is true, or what is maybe true, or which path that I want to take or you want to take, because there are differing opinions on whether that path is a good path or not. So you just have to study as much as possible and get beyond a lot of that and see, you gotta read a lot, view a lot, video, whatever, because a lot of smart people do videos. They don't just write books, but you gotta experience a lot of opinions. And I think because you're going to have a lot of intelligent sounding people and people who aren't intelligent, and they have a fair amount of credibility that don't agree, like I said, on something. But the more people you hear talk about that, whether it's which chainsaw is best, again, or four-wheeler or firearm or whatever it is, or ammo, you do begin to see that, well, okay, guy makes a lot of sense, but this guy does too. But you begin to see, well, it seems like there's more people on this side of it. There are more intelligent, sensible, credible people on this side of that argument, it seems to me. You begin to see a pattern. It doesn't mean one side's right or wrong, but you got to get as much information, as much input as you can, don't you, on whatever the topic is. Because whatever it is, whatever the topic is, there is a big world of people who disagree with you or me on that, right? Whether it's, again, politics, religion, or anything. We think about it, whatever religion, whatever politics you follow, what else? I don't even name it. There are how many people on the planet who would vehemently disagree with you, really strongly disagree with you? Billions, literally billions, okay? Some of them actually have a brain too. So you just got to find the path and walk down it. If it looks like the best path to you, you've done some research, right? So I'm getting too philosophical. I'm going to let you go. It's been good to have you here in the woods with me. It's been a good day, and there's probably no ticks around. It's late enough in the year. You can tell by looking. A lot of the leaves are down, right? And after it rains here this week, it's chillier. Next week, you'll probably see a difference. I just think you will, because the rain's going to wash off some of the leaves, and that's going to be sad. I'm going to cry. So I'll let you go. It's been good to have you here with me in the woods, even though I didn't need you to protect me because I got my 45-70, and it always does a great job of that. Yeah. So talk to you later. Life is good.